So I just found out that the Bazaar, you know, the auto battler that's been in open beta forever, just made some absolutely massive changes to how it works. The community is, let's just say, they have opinions. If you've never heard of the Bazaar, it's this roguelike auto battler created by Reynad, the guy who used to make Hearthstone content. It's been free to play on their own launcher for months, and people have been grinding, saving up gems, unlocking heroes, and now everything just changed overnight. Today we're diving into what exactly happened, why players are upset, and what these changes actually mean. Because this isn't just about one game, this is about a trend we're seeing across the industry. Have any of you been playing the Bazaar? Because if you have, you probably woke up to some very different news than what you were expecting. Alright, so here's what went down. The Bazaar just launched on Steam, but it's not the same game that was free on their launcher, like at all. First, and this is a big one, it now costs $45. $45 for an auto battler that gets you the base game and 3 heroes, Vanessa, Pygmalion, and Dooley. And here's where it gets interesting. If you were already playing before August 8th, you can keep playing for free on the old launcher. But if you want to move to Steam, which most people probably do, you have to buy the game again. Now they are offering a launch discount. For the first 3 days, you can get the base game plus the new hero Stele for $20. But after that, it's $45 for the base game, and every new hero is $20 DLC. And this is where players are really upset. You can't buy heroes with gems anymore. Remember all those gems you've been saving up? Yeah, they're basically worthless now for the thing most people wanted to spend them on. Have any of you ever had a game completely change its monetization model while you were playing it? Because that's exactly what this feels like. Let's talk about why the hero situation specifically has people so upset. Because this goes beyond just things cost money now. See, in the old system, you could grind for gems and eventually unlock new heroes. It took time, sure, but it was possible. Players have been saving up gems for months, specifically planning to get Stele when she launched. Then boom, Stele launches as $20 DLC only, no gems accepted. One player on Reddit put it perfectly. I've been saving gems for 3 months for this hero, and now they're telling me those gems are worthless for what I actually wanted. And here's the thing, if they had announced this change when the previous hero Mach was released, people could have adjusted their expectations. But dropping it right at Stella's launch, that feels like pulling the rug out from under your most dedicated players. The developer Toby did respond on Reddit saying the pricing isn't about making tons of profit, just keeping the game running. But when you've got players who've invested hundreds of hours suddenly finding out their saved currency is basically worthless, that's going to sting regardless of the reasoning. What do you think? Should they have given more warning about this change? Or is this just the reality of playing games in beta? Now, before we completely drag this decision, there are actually some really good changes that came with this transition. Ranked mode is now completely free, no more tickets, no more daily grinding just to play the competitive mode. If you want to play ranked all day, you can do that now. That's a significant change. Anyone who's played games with ticket systems know how frustrating it is when you're on a roll but suddenly can't play anymore because you're out of tickets. They converted unused ranked tickets to 100 gems each. They also changed normal mode to give chest rewards just like ranked used to. So now you're getting rewarded for playing regardless of which mode you choose. The prize pass is now completely free and purely cosmetic. Remember how you used to have to grind to tier 15 and 30 to unlock new expansions and items? That's gone. When a new season starts, you get all the new gameplay content immediately. Plus, the chests now include all available cosmetics from every season, not just the current one. These changes benefit anyone who owns the game. The question is whether that $45 entry price works for new players. So let's address the elephant in the room. $45 for an auto battler? To put that in perspective, that's more than Hades, more than Dead Cells, more than most indie games that people consider must-buys. It's getting into AAA territory. Now, I've played the Bazaar and it's really good, like one of the better roguelike auto battlers out there. The depth is there, replay value is there. If you're into this genre, you'll probably get your money's worth. But here's the problem. The Bazaar isn't a household name. Most people haven't heard of it, and asking $45 from someone who's never played an auto battler before, that's a tough sell. Compare that to something like Teamfight Tactics or Hearthstone Battlegrounds, which are free and already have a massive player base. The Bazaar is competing with free games while charging premium prices. One idea could be to launch a free demo version that includes just one hero and all the items. While limited to only a hero, it still offers a complete Bazaar experience. It could be enough to hook new players to pay the full price for it. What's the most you've ever paid for an indie game? And do you think $45 is reasonable for something in this genre? So why did they make this change? According to Reynad, the creator, it's about making a better game. This is going to let us get rid of a lot of annoying free-to-play things in-game and just make a better product, a game that's more fun. And you know what? That perspective makes sense. Free-to-play games often have to balance being fun with being profitable, and those two things don't always align. Ticket systems, gem grinding, artificial barriers, this exists to make money, not to make games better. With a premium model, they can focus purely on making the game as good as possible without worrying about engagement metrics and retention hooks. The developer Toby also mentioned that this isn't about making tons of money, it's about sustainability. Running servers, paying developers, continuing development, all of that costs money. But here's where it gets tricky. There are reports of players being banned from official Discord channels for criticizing these changes. That's worth noting during such a major transition. This change doesn't exist in a vacuum. We're seeing a lot of games experiment with different monetization models right now. Fall Guys went from premium to free to play. Among Us started cheap and stayed cheap. Some games launch free and then add premium battle passes. Others start premium and then go free later. The Bazaar is doing something different, going from free to play to premium mid-development, and honestly that's pretty rare. Part of me respects the decision to prioritize game quality over monetization, but the execution here feels a little messy. The timing, the communication, the way existing players were handled, all of that could have been smoother. What's interesting is that this might work long term. If the Bazaar becomes known as a premium high-quality auto-battler without any free-to-play elements, that could be a strong selling point. But in the short term, they're definitely going to lose players. The question is whether the players they keep are more valuable than the ones they lose. Have you noticed other games changing their monetization models recently? Because this feels like part of a bigger trend in the industry. So here's what this situation tells us about the current state of game development and monetization. The changes to the game itself, removing tickets, making seasonal content free, simplifying progression, these address common complaints about free-to-play games. But the price point and the communication around the hero DLC represent a significant shift. $45 for an auto-battler puts it in a different market category entirely. The hero DLC situation creates an interesting dynamic: premium pricing plus additional paid content for core gameplay elements. This approach differs from both traditional premium games and typical free-to-play models. Maybe offering a limited free version reflects how other games have handled premium transitions. Letting people try core gameplay before committing to a full purchase has worked for other titles. The community management aspect, with reports of bans for criticism, highlights how important communication is during major transitions like this. So that's the situation with The Bazaar, a game making major business model changes during its transition from beta to full release. The changes affect different players differently. Existing players can continue on the old launcher for free, while new players face the $45 entry point. The removal of gem purchases for heroes impacts players who had been saving currency. What do you think about games changing monetization models mid-development? Is this just the reality of early access and beta games, or should developers commit to a model and stick with it? Let me know in the comments if you've been following The Bazaar or if you've dealt with similar situations in other games. And if you want more coverage of gaming industry changes like this, let me know, because these decisions affect how we all experience games. And that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!